All right, we are in the last discussion topic, fragmentation to inner authority, and how do we live in inner authority is what we will explore today. If you can just visualize a mountain, like something that is standing so tall, so strong that people can be shouting their advice from below. People walking by could um, say things that you look ugly or you should have more trees or whatever. The mountain doesn't heed to it. People keep saying things, but the mountain is standing steady, strong, and tall. People with inner authority are something like that. Like an elephant walking with such confidence and doesn't care for the dogs barking, trying to chase the elephant away. But we also know, right? Grand canyons are formed, strong mountains, but then the current of water cut through the mountains. Initially, the water went around the mountain, but with enough force, over time, consistent effort, the water was able to cut through these mountains. So would I, as a person with great inner authority, still give in? To people telling me things, correcting me, conditioning me. Would I give in? Yeah, maybe that's a possibility. But then we also saw these trees growing out of a crack in a building. Little bit of nurturing environment. A seed will plant itself and begins to grow. I have, as a human being, that potential. I may be fragmented. I may be not standing strong as a mountain, with all people telling me around me, the environment around me conditioning me. It is just not people saying, right? It's too much of heat, too much of cold, too much of variations in the weather conditions can shatter me. So I would probably get fragmented, but then with little bit of that nurturing environment, I have the ability to plant myself, replant myself, recondition myself, and gain that inner authority, right? And I also have that ability, like animals do. They migrate, they adapt depending on the changing conditions. They won't sit and cry saying, look at me. Yeah, there are animals who eventually die because there is drought or floods. But yeah, they do try and migrate, travel miles across the globe during winter times and during summer times, and that instinct to survive is so strong that they won't stay fragmented. They don't stay under the external conditions, under the influence of the external conditions. They adapt and move on. We have that ability as well. But beyond being rock like, as in mountain, plant like, animal like, I am a human being. I have this great potential to evolve, to transcend my difficulties, my conditioning. I have that ability. Of course, I can give in, I can fall back, being like an animal, just adapt to the situation required now. Be plant like, with little whatever you have. Feel that guilt. Oh, my parents have given me so much, my boss has given me so much. Why should I complain? Let me be in gratitude, let me just settle in. Or, like mountain, though very, very strong, kind of give in to the pressure. But I have consciousness that's totally, totally, totally within me. Of course, we need the environment, but it is the inner work. You know, I could be coming from a very rich lineage, rich culture. That doesn't mean anything. My parents could be well versed, accomplished musicians, artists. There is environment. That doesn't mean anything to me. I could also be a great, accomplished person in the world. That doesn't mean that I'm living within an authority. I may be working hard to maintain that image. I may be working hard to maintain that income. It could be. I'm not saying I would definitely be. That's again the human consciousness. We have the ability to evolve and to equally go in the other direction, spiraling downwards. So, culture, the family that I'm born into, the society that I'm born into, of course, will give me some structure, but inner work is no substitute for growth. Growth towards the potential that I could be, right? So, if we find ourselves complaining that somebody is not giving me an opportunity, um, I know a person, young fellow right now, the company is not going to give me opportunity, so I'm going to quit and find another one. Well, if you quit, if you are jobless, there's going to be a lot more pressure. People asking you, you surviving, whatever. And then under that pressure, will I be able to put efforts and find another work? I'm not saying it's impossible, but that's something I need to think about. What am I lacking? Where are opportunities that I'm not looking at? What's my blind spots? These are the nurturing questions. Who am I is a question that I need to ponder upon. You will see people around you all the time who defy all this cultural background they're coming from. Good and not so good. Conducive, not so conducive, equally. You see someone becoming so evolved and great coming from a very dysfunctional family, and somebody becoming dysfunctional coming from a very functional, cultured family. Possibilities are there both ways. But for me, the question is, am I happy? That's the basic human aspiration. I want to be happy and happy always. And that aspiration is with every human being, it's universal. So if I can ask myself, am I happy waking up at 5 a.m. every day? Am I happy going for a walk every day? Am I happy eating such and such breakfast every day? If I'm not, then I need to pay attention and do something about it, and that's inner work. Good manners automatically don't make me a person with inner authority. They are external behaviors. You could say I'm very good manner, but I could house a very evil intention within me. And because of that, I'm not in authority. I may appear to be, but am I? That is when you go back to the universal values. Am I happy? Am I always happy? Then you will know that something is amiss. Age does not equate wisdom. Just because I'm 50, 60, 70, 80 doesn't mean I'm wise. I was at an event yesterday. It was annual gathering of a social group, and there were events hosted. There was lunch and some fun activities, and most were 50 plus. Yet there was competition between them. They wanted to win, they had to win, they had to argue why someone won, not them. And they had to like grab, they had to run to get their lunch first, worrying that they may not have anything left at the end. And I was just wondering, why are we like this? Why the human conscious has not developed? Or again, I was judging, so that is not developed in me either. If I'm with inner authority, I accept, yeah, this is how situation is, this is how people are, this is how the environment is. What can I do in that environment for myself? I'm not here to fix anybody, for myself. And that was an aha moment for me. I was sitting there. If someone else, there were two, three other people, we were just sitting back and like, oh my God, look at those 80-year-olds trying to argue for this prize. I was sitting in judgment. And I found a company who was equally judging, so we supported each other. But at one point, I was fragmented, I am fragmented, and so were they. Somewhere we were raised to compete to survive. These are the belief systems I hold. You should not boast about yourself. You should give in. Go get it, otherwise, you may never get it. Right? So, all such things, we are fragmented unless we are fortunate enough to pause and question, why am I judging? Why am I talking ill about somebody? Why am I not happy? I will never be able to overcome this or heal it. The people who we find around us, including ourselves, who fall into these traps, we were never given that insight about reflecting. Somewhere, if you sat down to reflect, you were called lazy. You were called trying to escape something. You were not fitting in, whatever conditioning again. So, running, getting things done was the way to go. So, reflection was not in my vocabulary. I never saw anybody reflecting. And even when I did see, I was trying to recollect all the people that I know and how people have labeled them or the impression that I have about them. So it's like tip of the iceberg. Some of these people who live with certain inner authority, they don't boast about themselves, don't participate very much, they're generally quiet and like that elephant, right? Don't react to everything, contain themselves, don't judge people. They know who they are and they keep walking their path. And people around would call them not participating, not taking charge, not all the time, right? And you hear these things, and somewhere, your parents, your teachers may not have told that you got to be like this, but we heard people talking about others, and we said, okay, people will talk like this about me too, so I better learn. And we were also told, don't you see what happened to them? Can't you learn from them? Of course, yes. But we learn both because we don't have the ability to reflect. Because we may also be reflecting from the fragmented state. So, healing is essential, especially for us who are in the public sector, in the in the face of public, especially children who look up to us. because we need examples, we need role models. We learn from seeing, we learn with using all our sense organs. We see, we hear, we experience, we touch people's hearts or get touched by people. And Steiner talks about super sensible organs. There is something that I can see beyond my vision. Now you can close your eyes and reflect and look at what could be happening 20 years from now. I just saw a video where Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev, he's telling that schools will no more be existing 10 years from now. And there's already drop in school admission rates. There's drop in population. I think it was, I don't know which country in Europe, they shut down several schools. And in India, we are shutting down several government schools. So you see that pattern, and somebody is able to sit and extrapolate that and kind of know what is our state going to be 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And that's a that's that looking at the present figures, reflecting in it, kind of understanding the situation, and you somehow get that intuition, provided I'm in that reflective mode all the time. And that is where we need to work on. That inner authority is coming from being steady, being quiet, being intact, integrating my own self, despite whether people notice it or not, despite what people say, right? And being able to do that is directly proportional to the inner work we do. Inner work, we have been talking about it. It could be journaling, it could be sitting quiet, it could be just maybe singing a line written from some accomplished person. Keep repeating the same sentence in your mind, or simple proverb. Some things we have heard: practice makes a man perfect. And just keep saying that, and just keep looking at the things we do on daily basis that you have perfected already. So when you know that the first time you made coffee, you probably didn't measure well, you didn't probably add every ingredient in proportion, and it was a mess. And this happened to me. I was at a conference, well, not a conference, it was a training, live training it was called. If we had gone through it once, it was available for me to master my skills to do it again as a volunteer. It was in person, so there are a lot of logistical things that needed to be done. So I was given the task of attending to the trainer. I had to be by the stage around him, trying to give whatever he wanted. So at one point of time, he asked me for a chamomile tea. And I had no idea. I was in the US, 3 years in the country, and I had no idea other than the tea we prepare in North Karnataka, where it is boil the water, add sugar, add tea powder, boil it again, add milk, boil it again, strain it, and give it. That was what I was used to. So I go to this kitchen counter where there are like 20 different types of teas. And so I took a flask because he had to be given in this zipper mug. I put a tea bag, I poured hot water in it, I poured sugar and milk and closed it and gave it to him. And his expectation of the tea, the taste that he had in his mind was completely different, polar opposite. And the minute he took a sip, he just spit it out. and I was shattered. I didn't know what had happened. Expectations vary. And of course, I suffered in that instance, but then I started looking at it slowly over the years. I mean, this happened almost 30 years ago. But over the period of time, I was like, if somebody doesn't like it, I probably would have done the same thing, because there is a memory and experience that's already ingrained in me. Anything that contradicts that, even deviates from it, am ready. My body reacts. I don't think the trainer himself was wanting to spit it out. His body just threw it out. It's like giving a small child a tamarind, just bite into it and they just go, ooh, right? So there could be situations where we are put at crossroads, but I need to keep observing and check what's happening within me. And being within the same culture, with the same family, you see that, when you start changing, people will say, something is different with her. She doesn't eat this anymore with us. She doesn't go on vacation. Again, same thing happened. I have friends, college friends, and I really don't enjoy their company anymore. So I'm on the group but not participating. So it's like, Shubha, she went to US and she returned, and she's completely changed. At some point, you look at it, you say, do I really want to be in their company, or am I wanting just to be in good books? And if I develop that inner authority, there will be a resounding no. I do not want to be. Not that they're bad people. I mean, all of us have our own ups and downs, and all of us are going through, all of us are moving towards that progress in our lives. But at this point of time, I'm able to say no. Ability to say no is coming out of inner authority. Now, I want to say no, but I come up with so many excuses, and I have done that. I still do it. But then somewhere, why am I making all these excuses? This fear of telling no. What will they think of me? Okay, let me give another excuse, make up another excuse. Then, knowing me, I forget the excuse I made. So I'm worried that I would be caught again. So instead of that, can I just come out and tell the truth? Saying that I'm tired, I don't want to travel, somewhere is ingrained in me that you're a selfish. You need to put others first. And now that we are working on the inner core of ourselves, I'm like, yes, I need to be selfish for self care purposes, so I can be available for myself and others when there is a need. Right now, I'm just playing to the tune that I'm not comfortable with. So, if you can hold on to that image of the strong mountain, willing to adapt like the plant and animal, yet being able to transcend by daily reflection, that is going to help us live with that inner authority. That would help us heal our fragmentations. That would help us live our aspiration of being happy all the time. Thank you very much.